Zhongnanhai, the heart of China's leadership, is in turmoil. Has Xi Jinping lost his grip on power? President Donald Trump has openly questioned internal shifts within China. From Xi's sudden disappearance from People's Daily to rumors that senior figures like Wen Jiabao and Wang are quietly pulling the strings, it appears that authority may be changing hands. Who truly stands behind the new power lines? Could a political tsunami soon wash away Xi Jinping's legacy and open the door for a new generation to reshape China? Join us as we delve into these dramatic events in today's program. Did Trump know Xi Jinping is in trouble? On June 2nd, Chinese-American China affairs expert Gordon Chang told Fox News that President Donald Trump had expressed concern about internal turmoil within the Chinese government, going so far as to suggest that Xi Jinping may have lost real power. Gordon Chang stated, "President Trump was worried about what was happening inside China, so he gave them a break, 90 days. The problem for us right now is that we want to talk to Xi Jinping, but Xi Jinping has recently lost a lot of power." Chang even questioned whether Xi still has the authority to represent China in dealings with the U.S. As a prominent commentator among conservative media and policy think tanks in Washington, D.C., Gordon Chang has frequently appeared on television programs, opinion columns, and conservative conferences since Trump took office, often offering policy recommendations on China. Then, on June 5th, President Trump posted on his Truth Social account that he had just had a 1.5-hour phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The two leaders discussed the newly reached trade agreement in detail and achieved positive outcomes for both countries. The issue of rare earth products was clarified, with no remaining obstacles. However, there was an unusual detail. Xinhua's breaking news report on the event contained only 14 characters, simply repeating the headline, "Xinhua News Flash, Xi Jinping holds phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump." Notably, the report made no mention of any official title for Xi Jinping. In contrast, a similar report from January 17 of the same year, covering a phone call between the two leaders, clearly stated the time of the call and referred to Xi by his formal title, President of China. The omission of his title this time around has raised considerable speculation. Just a few minutes later, Xinhua issued a second report, this time adding both the timing of the call and Xi's official title. However, this follow-up did not carry the breaking news label and still consisted of a single sentence, offering no details about the content of the conversation, an omission that further fueled suspicions. According to a recent Epoch Times report citing an insider source, Xi Jinping may still appear to hold the top leadership position, but in reality, his era is over. Key elder figures in the Chinese Communist Party, such as former Premier Wen Jiabao and Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Yuxia, are now said to be the ones shaping China's political landscape. The insider revealed that Xi began losing power as early as April last year. Despite several attempts to fight back, reportedly even using force, he failed. Now Xi is just a figurehead, merely playing his role and following instructions from others. Signs of this shift are also evident in state-run media. Xi, who used to dominate headlines with his guiding directives, has noticeably faded from political news. On June 2nd and 3, People's Daily, China's most authoritative newspaper, made no mention of him on the front page. It wasn't until June 4th, when the president of Belarus visited Beijing and specifically requested a meeting with Xi, that state media reported on his appearance. Until recently, Xi's name had been a daily staple on the front pages of party-controlled media. On June 3rd, Gordon Chang posted on X, "Xi Jinping's disappearance from People's Daily suggests he has lost power." Who's holding power in Zhongnanhai? An independent journalist known as Xiao Shuojia recently revealed that China's Politburo Standing Committee has become largely symbolic, while senior CCP elders have formed a provisional central leadership now running affairs at Zhongnanhai. According to the source, two prominent figures from the Communist Youth League faction, Wang and Hu Chenhua, previously sidelined by Xi Jinping at the 20th Party Congress, have returned. Wang is said to be serving as General Secretary, overseeing party affairs. Hu Chenhua is reportedly the new premier, in charge of state administration. Former Premier Wen Jiabao has also re-emerged as a key figure, reportedly helping guide this leadership transition. The current standing committee is said to be inactive, with only Li Qiang maintaining a public presence. A new list of standing committee members is reportedly being prepared, with a major fourth plenum expected in July or August to address urgent issues. Due to China's strict control over information, these reports remain unconfirmed. However, the delay in convening the fourth plenum has fueled speculation that it could determine Xi Jinping's political fate and signal major shifts in CCP leadership and policy. Signs Wang Yang may be taking power. Is Wang Yang emerging as a new power player in Zhongnanhai? Recent developments suggest so. On June 2nd, People's Daily ran a front-page article titled, "New Development Concepts Guide BG Over the Mountains." Surprisingly, Xi Jinping was barely mentioned, just a token opening line stating, "The General Secretary once emphasized." No further praise followed, which is unusual given the CCP media's typical glorification of Xi as the core leader. So, who is associated with BG? Clearly, Wang Yang. A former vice premier and chairman of the CPPCC, Wang hails from the Communist Youth League faction. He's linked to Deng Xiaoping's second-generation leadership and mentored by Wen Jiabao and Hu Jintao. The sudden focus on BG appears to spotlight Wang's legacy and achievements. Why BG? Back in 2015, as vice premier, Wang spearheaded poverty alleviation there through industrial development. In 2018, as CPPCC chairman, he led a national forum on supporting BG, famously stating, "Don't just give money, help people earn it themselves." This directly contrasted with Xi's approach of broad cash-driven poverty relief. Wang promoted self-sustaining strategies, vocational training, non-energy mineral resource development, and an education industrial zone model. It wasn't flashy, but it worked, training 280,000 people and launching over 2,000 projects. His leadership style was distinctively youth league, avoiding personal glorification and instead rallying broad support from various political groups. BG became a model, with all 7 of its nationally designated poor counties lifted out of poverty. A second major sign came from Hong Kong. On the night of May 30th, authorities abruptly removed Zheng Yanxiang from his key posts: Director of the Liaison Office, Deputy Director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, and National Security Advisor. No retirement or new post was announced. He simply vanished from the system. Zheng was a hardliner handpicked by Xi. Back in 2011, while in Shanwei, Guangdong, he brutally suppressed the Wukong land protests and gained notoriety for mocking demonstrators with the remark, "What rank do you think you are?" He later rose rapidly, becoming the first director of the central government's National Security Office in Hong Kong and a key enforcer of Xi's tough stance there. His sudden dismissal wasn't random. When Zheng cracked down on Wukong, the provincial party secretary was Wang Yang. And Wang was one of the strongest critics of Zheng's heavy-handed tactics. This reshuffle appears to be more than personnel changes. It looks like a systematic purge of Xi's allies, replacing them with Wang's people. Zheng's replacement, Zhu Ji, has no known ties to Hong Kong, Macau, or Guangdong. He comes from inland provinces like Hubei and Henan. This supports the theory that Wang Yang's faction is regaining ground and working to dismantle Xi Jinping's legacy, step by step. Can Wang Yang steer China forward? Wang Yang is a rare figure among senior CCP officials, a leader who rose from humble beginnings. After losing his father at a young age, he worked to support his family. At 20, through a family connection by marriage, he entered local government in Anhui province. By 1992, the year Deng Xiaoping made his famous southern tour, Wang was already leading the city of Tongling. There, he boldly launched the slogan, "Wake up, Tongling," a direct call for reform. People's Daily published a supportive editorial, catching Deng's attention. On his return from the south, Deng stopped in Anhui and asked to meet Wang personally, calling him a true talent. That endorsement fast-tracked Wang's career. Later that year, he was promoted to vice governor of Anhui, becoming the youngest official at the vice-provincial level in China. From then on, Wang's path was marked by 2 traits: reform and technocratic governance. Deng even considered him a next-generation successor, a rare distinction. Wang went on to hold key posts: Vice Secretary General of the State Council, Deputy Director of the National Development and Reform Commission, and top leadership roles in Chongqing and Guangdong. His wide-ranging experience at both central and local levels built his reformist reputation. In Guangdong, two initiatives defined his tenure: the birdcage reform and the Wukong election. The birdcage reform aimed to upgrade industry by eliminating outdated production and shifting the Pearl River Delta toward high-end manufacturing. It was a tough sell. Closing profitable but polluting factories and laying off workers made him unpopular with powerful business interests. Without backing from Li Keqiang and Wen Jiabao, it might have failed. But it was the 2011 Wukong election that marked him as a genuine political reformer. When villagers in Wukong, Guangdong, protested land seizures, the usual response would have been arrests. Instead, Wang allowed open, transparent local elections, a rare move praised even by international media as the CCP's closest brush with democracy. Before 2012, many expected Wang to become premier, with Li Keqiang as party secretary. But in the CCP, being competent isn't enough. Crossing ideological lines is dangerous. Wukong's freedom experiment alarmed party conservatives, especially Jiang Zemin's faction. Their fear was simple: if the people start voting, can the party stay in control? Enter Xi Jinping, a red princeling, whose ideology aligned with the old guard's principle: our children won't dig our fathers' graves. Under Xi's increasingly authoritarian leadership, reformists like Wang were sidelined. Yet today, Wang Yang is back in the conversation, precisely because of Xi Jinping. After a decade of iron-fisted rule, the consequences are now undeniable. In contrast, Wang is seen as someone who reassures investors, is trusted by officials, not feared by the public, and respected internationally. He has real reform credentials and a track record of pragmatic leadership. If the CCP now needs a steady hand, someone who can balance factions, calm military and elder leaders, and avoid deepening social unrest, Wang Yang may be the safest choice. Though firmly tied to the Youth League faction, he lacks the strong reformist zeal of Li Keqiang or the heir-apparent pressure on Hu Chenhua. Wang is methodical, moderate, and unlikely to rock the boat, an ideal transitional general secretary. Not a revolutionary, not a visionary, but someone who can keep the ship from crashing, preserving stability, lives, and the party's last threads of public trust. 3 conditions for Wang Yang's return. Wang Yang's political comeback is far from simple, especially after witnessing the suspicious death of Li Keqiang and the public removal of Hu Jintao from the 20th Party Congress. According to internal reports, Wang has set 3 clear conditions before agreeing to return to power. First condition: control of the military. In China's political system, no real power exists without control over the military. Wang understands this well. Without the army, policies on governance, poverty alleviation, or reform are meaningless. Xi Jinping managed to stay in power for over a decade, not because of propaganda or alliances, but because he firmly controlled the People's Liberation Army, PLA, as chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC. If Wang returns without military authority, he risks becoming a mere placeholder, easily discarded by rival factions. Therefore, military power must be realigned. Internal sources suggest discussions are underway about creating a new position, Vice Chairman of the National Security Commission, to be held by Wang. Some voices within the party are also pushing to separate the roles of General Secretary and Chairman of the CMC. This would mark a shift away from the overly centralized 3-in-1 power model, General Secretary, State President, and CMC Chair in one person, that has fueled autocracy and instability. Decentralizing power is now seen as necessary to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past decade. In the second condition, Wang has reportedly demanded that Wang Yi and Hua Chunying step down from the foreign ministry and that Qin Gang be reinstated. This isn't just a personnel change, it's a complete strategic pivot away from the combative, wolf-warrior diplomacy that defined the past 10 years. That aggressive diplomatic style has backfired badly. Southeast Asia has grown distant, Europe has blacklisted China, the US has ramped up sanctions, Japan has doubled its defense budget, and even African nations, once considered allies, are now demanding repayment. Wang aims to shift China's posture back to Deng Xiaoping's philosophy of hide your strength, bide your time, and promote peaceful development. Why the urgency to repair US ties? Because Wang knows, without US technology and dollar-based transactions, China's economy can't function. Anyone who wages war against American imperialism and insists on confrontation becomes, in Wang's view, an enemy of the people. He's no fool. He understands that in this system, whoever holds absolute power is always at risk of going off course. That's why Wang's final condition is to restore collective leadership and revive political consultation mechanisms. Internal rumors suggest these three demands sparked intense debate during the expanded Politburo meeting in May. In the end, can Wang Yang lead China, a spiritually exhausted nation, toward a new phase of global civilization? Time will tell. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.